Coming up on the season premiere of Green Bay Nation, the Pack are back and bound for Brazil. Green Bay's expectations are high, and it all starts on Friday against the Eagles. All that and more next on Green Bay Nation. Hello and welcome to Green Bay Nation, the season premiere. Joining me to chat everything Packers, he's a radio host for 107.5 and 1400 The Fan, Marcus Eversole, and you are not Ryan Wood. Joining us today, Kyle Malls on WFRV and Local 5's very own, filling in for Ryan Wood because Ryan decided he wanted to go to the Southern Hemisphere and cover the game in Brazil. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor.
Well, thank you. And before we talk about the Brazil trip, let's first talk about this offseason. Marcus, I want to apologize that Green Bay Nation is not paying you an upwards of $220 million to do this show.
I thought, what?
I think the check may have bounced.
Right
Kyle's got it. But one thing, once someone in Green Bay is getting paid that much, and that is quarterback Jordan Love. Marcus, were you surprised that Jordan Love signed a contract of that size going into his second year as a starter?
Not at all. And I know it's a small sample size, but smart investments aren't made just based on what you've accomplished. Smart investments are made based on what you think someone is going to do throughout the duration of the contract. And for the next 4 or 5 years that Love's under contract, there aren't many quarterbacks you would rather have than Jordan Love. And I realize, again, it is a relatively small sample size, one season as the starter, and really he didn't take his game to the next level until the second half of last year. But this is just the way things go. It's all about timing. And when it's your time to get paid, when you prove that you have the potential to be an elite quarterback, potential is enough to get you paid more than anybody else at the position. The Packers paid Aaron Rodgers after 7 starts because they knew he was the guy. They paid Jordan Love after, 19 starts this last year. So he's the guy. I'm not surprised. And you know what? The market changes so quick. A year from now, this will look like a bargain.
Sorry that we're not making your salary look like a bargain, though. We apologize for that one.
You have time.
We have time. Yes, exactly. We'll see the contract extension coming up soon. Well, just because Ryan isn't here doesn't mean I didn't make him work. So I caught up with Ryan Wood before he traveled to Brazil. We wanted to talk about the Packers' new defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley, coming in from Boston College as the head coach there, now here as the DC. And this is what Ryan had to say about the new defense in Green Bay.
Well, Lauren, we always hear the saying defense travels, and in a way, the Packers defense has traveled this offseason from a 3-4 scheme base to a 4-3 scheme. What I learned is that this Packers defensive front can travel from a 3-4 to a 4-3, and I think that was a big question mark because this was unquestionably the strength of the Packers defense last year. It's loaded up front, a lot of talent, and it played really well in the 3-4. So when you play really well in the 3-4, you wonder, how's it going to look in an entirely different scheme? I spoke with Kenny Clark at his locker this training camp, and he said the 4-3 really mimics what they do in the nickel, which is a 4-2-5 formation. A lot of the same principles carry over, and it's really a better fit for this defensive front to just get after the quarterback. We saw that in training camp. Obviously, it'll be very interesting to see this defensive front in the 4-3 for the first time against Jalen Hurts.
Thank you, Ryan. All right, Kyle, now that you're at the desk, we're obviously going to hit you with a couple questions. We were at training camp all summer. We saw a number of players trying to make the team, some players fighting for a roster spot. When the 53-man roster came out, any big surprises for you on names that were left off or put on?
I'd say backup quarterback, but in a perfect world, we'd never talk about the backup quarterbacks heading into the season. Now, I was maybe a little shocked that they didn't keep 7 receivers. I know it's uncommon. The last time they did it was in 2022. But Grant DuBose had a heck of a good training camp and preseason. So I thought there was a chance that he makes it. He doesn't. Grant DuBose gets cut. Malik Heath takes his spot. But Grant DuBose lands in a really good place in Miami. The other aspect of this is the kicker. Like, we went all year long with, okay, who is going to be the kicker week number 1? Is it going to be Anders Carlson? Is it going to be Greg Joseph? And no, it's just Braden Narveson. Like, it was like they almost kicked themselves out of a job, and that was the biggest takeaway for me. And now you have this undrafted rookie who the Packers will be relying on, another rookie at that kicker position, and who knows how it will pan out this year for them.
Brian Gutekunst told us after the roster cuts, I probably need to work on my patience a bit when it comes to special teams, but it's Narveson's kicking job for now.
Yeah. And he hasn't missed a kick as a Packer yet.
So
That's good signs.
that's a good stat. We'll take the stat. All right. So as all the preseason and training camp roster construction comes to this point, the season opener, the Packers have officially landed in Brazil 2 days away from a Friday matchup against the Birds. When we come back on the show, we're sizing up the competition. How will the Packers fare against the Eagles, and what GB rookies will make an immediate impact? That's after the break. Welcome back to Green Bay Nation. I'm Lauren Helmbrecht alongside Marcus Eversole and Kyle Malzahn filling in for Ryan Wood. A Friday game in Brazil against the Philadelphia Eagles. That's one way to start the season. So both teams have to deal with the long flights and playing in unfamiliar environments. So we don't need to talk about that. Let's talk about the actual action on the field. Marcus, compare these two teams.
Well, you know, it's interesting when you look at how these two teams match up. I know that saying I don't know is a really bad thing to say on TV or on radio because you want answers, but honestly, there are so many unknowns because, I mean, we talk about the Packers defense with a new coordinator in Jeff Hafley. The Eagles have a new offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore and a new defensive coordinator in Vic Fangio. So I don't know. I mean, I think both teams are going to learn a lot about themselves in this game. What I do know is that both teams go into the 2024 season with really high hopes and aspirations. They both think that they have reason to believe they can come out of the NFC. The Packers got hot over the second half of last season. The Eagles' season went up in flames over the second half of the season. They started 10-1. They lost 6 of their last 7 games. But with 3 new coordinators in this matchup, there's a lot of unknowns.
Is there a bigger test than the Eagles week 1 for Jeff Hafley? I mean, you have a running quarterback within Jalen Hurts. You have Saquon Barkley, who's new to the Eagles backfield. And then you have 3 really good receivers, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jahan Dotson. I mean, this is going to be a big test for Hafley. We've heard all offseason long just how excited Packers fans were to see Jeff Hafley's defense. And for me, I just want to see it. I want to see it. There was vanilla looks in the preseason. Is the hype real? Can this defense shut down a Super Bowl caliber team within the Eagles week 1? It should be good, but this is a big test for a Packers team that also has Super Bowl hopes as well.
All right, so for the second straight year, the Green Bay Packers are the youngest team in the NFL once again. Really fun for us when we keep hearing how everyone's average age is 24. One player over 30, but I caught up with Ryan before he left to see who he thought would make the most impact in this game and beyond when it comes to the rookie players.
Well, it's easy to say Jordan Morgan, the first-round pick, because I think that it's very possible Jordan Morgan is going to play 1,000 snaps at right guard from the very beginning of training camp. He's slotted in as a starter there. And starting offensive linemen play 4 figures. They play 1,000 snaps. So Jordan Morgan's the obvious choice. But for me, in terms of impact and variance, either impact in a good way or potentially a bad way, it's the rookie linebacker Edgerrin Cooper. Because the Packers need him to be the battery in their nickel, middle of their defense with Quay Walker as a nickel linebacker. They need him to play over 800 snaps because they don't have another linebacker that has the athletic profile on this roster of an Edgerrin Cooper. But he missed a lot of training camp with injury, and he's going to have to accelerate his development. So can he be, in his rookie season, what the Packers drafted him to be? If he is, Edgerrin Cooper and Quay Walker changes the whole face of this Packers in middle of their defense.
Thank you very much, Ryan. So, Marcus, Kyle, who of the rookies do you think is going to make an impact?
Well, I'm looking at the safeties, 2 of them that they picked. Javon Bullard in the second round. I think as far as the rookies go, immediately he's going to have the biggest impact just in terms of his role. He's going to start at safety along with Xavier McKinney. And Evan Williams, I don't remember seeing it. Well, actually, a couple years ago, Romeo Doubs as a 4th-round pick was like, oh, this guy's good. Mm-hmm. But Evan Williams had a similar training camp. So Javon Bullard and Evan Williams, they're going to have to find ways to get both those guys on the field.
I say the good fortune comes back in Green Bay's cards, and I say Braden Narvison, the kicker, and the Packers finally get a kicker after saying goodbye to Mason Crosby a few years ago, and he can hit some kicks. I mean, he hit a 59-game winner in Tennessee this past preseason.
Yeah, taking down Seattle, my hometown team, with that kick, and also getting some good tape because he eventually gets cut by the Titans but gets a job here in the Packers. So when we come back on Green Bay Nation, the Packers, and even more importantly, our own Ryan Wood, safely made it to Brazil after braving a 10-hour flight. But the last time the Green and Gold went international, the season temporarily went south. How will Green Bay make this year's travel better than last? Well, that's next on Green Bay Nation. Welcome back to the season premiere of Green Bay Nation. The Packers have gone international once again. 2 years ago, after traveling to London to take on the Giants, well, Green Bay starts the season in Brazil this year, and they've learned their lesson from the last trek across the globe. And it's time to get in the zone. Cameron is there.
Well, with the Packers gearing up to play the Eagles in the first NFL game ever hosted in Brazil in just a couple of days, you might remember a cross-country trip they took a couple years ago when Green Bay played the New York Giants over in London. Well, if you also remember, they lost that game and then subsequently lost the next 4. So for those still on the team, how will that experience help with this one?
I think this is a lot different in regards to, because you're essentially going to stay on the same body clock, and I think that's an important part of it. Obviously, leaning on our experts here.
I don't even think we're thinking about that. I mean, that was 2 years ago. We got a new team. We got different energy. We got different motivation to us going to this one. So I mean, it's just about handling business.
I don't think this one's as far as London was, and I don't think that we're going to be. We're not there as long as we was in London. Again, I don't know. It's new. It's a different place, a little different rules. Every country is different. Just got to adapt to play ball.
Well, it seems that the consensus amongst the players is they just want to get out there and open up the season. But for you guys, do you think that Green Bay's past experience of playing cross country will help them come Friday?
Thank you, Cam. Time now for Q&A with Green Bay. Marcus, Kyle, they've already been to London, but a lot of those players maybe aren't on the team anymore. How does that experience help the Packers make sure that this Brazil trip stays in Brazil? When they get back, they're ready for week 2?
Well, I think just from a time management perspective, I think the coaching staff has clearly learned just in terms of the itinerary and the schedule and when they went to Brazil and when they're getting back. There's certainly stuff that they can learn from that we don't even know about. The cure, I think, to everything, though, is winning. I mean, the season a couple years ago when they went to London, everything unraveled because they came home, it was ugly, they lost, they kept losing, and the season fell apart. They need to come home, win or lose against the Eagles in Brazil. They need to beat the Colts in their home opener the next week.
Yeah, and it's only a 2-hour time difference out in Brazil, so it's not like we're London. It's a 6-7 hour time difference. Lauren, you would know best. You lived out there, but yeah, this Packers team, they have to come back and get ready for the home opener. They'll be off Saturday and Sunday, back at it on Monday. But I don't know if you could take anything away from 2 years ago. But hopefully the starting quarterback's healthy and gives them a chance to win throughout the rest of the year. Because back in London, that was when Aaron Rodgers broke his thumb and then things unraveled. So hopefully Jordan Love just stays healthy and they don't have to go through that again.
Kyle's first time on the show, he's already revealing Lauren lore. I did live in London for a time. All right, when we come back, it's time for Challenge or No Challenge, presented by Bayside Machine Corporation. Will Marcus and Kyle agree with my predictions,
Probably
or
not.
will the challenge flags be thrown? That is after the break. Welcome back to Green Bay Nation. It's time now for Challenge or No Challenge, presented by Bayside Machine Corporation. The rules are simple. I make a prediction. If you agree, nothing happens. If you disagree, the flag hits the floor, just like Matt LaFleur.
Okay.
You got it?
Yep.
Kyle, I
Yes.
know it's your first time playing.
Ready.
You ready to go?
Yep.
All right, so third-year wide receiver Romeo Doubs. He's currently on the injury report. He has a hand contusion, limited. I think the Eagles have a pretty strong defense, so my Challenge or No Challenge, Romeo Doubs plays in the game and leads the Packers in receiving yards.
I will challenge that. I do think he'll play in the game, but I don't think he'll be the leading receiver. Christian Watson is finally healthy for a season opener, unlike last year. The last time the Packers and Eagles played was when Jordan Love replaced Aaron Rodgers, and on Love's 4th snap, he hit Watson for a 63-yard touchdown. I think Watson leads the team on Friday.
I won't challenge that. When Jordan Love met with Green Bay West last week, he said his favorite wide receiver to throw to was Romeo Doubs, so I won't challenge it at all.
I'm guessing like one 65-yard bomb ends up being the leading receiver because I think the Packers are going to distribute the wealth, but we'll wait and see. Now we'll switch it to the other side of the ball, aggressive and attacking. Those are the words that we use to describe Jeff Hafley's new defensive scheme. Challenge or no challenge, the Packers have more sacks than the Eagles in this game.
No challenge for me, and even though the Eagles are talented up front, I think the Packers have more talent. I think Rashawn Gary's the best pass rusher in this game. I think Gary's honestly a dark horse defensive player of the year candidate.
Yeah.
He was dominant in training camp. I think the Packers will have more sacks than the Eagles.
Yeah, I won't challenge it either because, I mean, Kenny Clark's coming off a career-high sack total a year ago, and I think it's only going to improve with this new 4-3 scheme under Jeff Hafley. No challenge for me, Lauren. They dominate at the line of scrimmage.
Earlier, we were talking about the number of rookies on this team. Now we're talking about rookies playing in the game. I think that at least 2 rookies will start against the Eagles. Challenge or no challenge? What about you, Marcus?
I wish I had a coin because if I did, I'd flip it. It just depends on how you feel about the right guard. Will Jordan Morgan start, or will it be Sean Ryan, or will it be a rotation? Javon Bullard is going to start at safety.
Yeah.
I'll say no challenge because I still think they like that first-round talent of Jordan Morgan starting also.
I will challenge this one just because Marcus didn't. I think they go with Sean Ryan to start the game. I think it'll be a rotation come Friday.
Yeah.
But since, he's been on the team and he kind of has more reps under his belt, I think they go with Sean Ryan to start. But, of course, Jordan Morgan will come in and get some valuable playing time in his first NFL game.
Kyle, you held your own, pardon me, on your first round of Challenge or No Challenge.
I did.
You did pretty well.
Thank you.
When we come back, it is time to wrap up the show. We are getting green and bold, throwing flags at each other. And we're talking about who we think is going to win this Packers-Eagles game. Welcome back to Green Bay Nation season premiere. We are ready to wrap up the show by getting green and bold. Marcus, Kyle, and I do have Ryan's assessment. Who do we have winning the Packers season opener in Brazil against the Eagles?
I mean, it's a guess. It's a lot of unknowns come with week 1. I think the Packers are going to win this game. I'm taking them to win the game. But win or lose, the Packers are going to have a good season. It's not the end of the world if they lose this game. Both teams see themselves as Super Bowl contenders. I still think there's a good vibe about this Packers team, so I'm taking them to start 1-0.
You want bold? I'll give you bold. This will be the start of the Jordan Love MVP season. Packers win it 31-20, and I think this team really clicks right from the get-go, and they start the year off with a W, and good things happen.
I think that it will be a lower scoring game just because of 2 new defensive coordinators. I think they're going to be aggressive and attacking because if we've seen anything from Jeff Hafley, that's exactly what he wants to do. But I also have the Packers, and it's kind of because I've watched a lot more of Packers film, especially the defense. I don't really know what the Eagles' defense is going to look like just yet, and I do know that Jordan Love looks really strong. As for Ryan, he chimed in and said, yeah, I think I'm rolling with the Packers. A little less confident there, but lastly, what are we feeling about Ryan's trip to Sao Paulo? How are we feeling about that?
I'm really anxious to hear about it because so much has been said, like going into the trip, be afraid of this kind of thing and security concerns and all that. I hope Ryan has a nice time. I'm sure he will.
I got a video from Ryan this morning, and it is his hotel room, and he's not living too bad out there. He flashes his hotel room and his view of all these tall buildings, and he says, I can live with it. So I think he's going to have a good time. Hopefully he comes back safe and he has a good time out there. But we won't see him on Twitter because it's banned out there. So I don't know. He'll have to be giving me some updates via text.
Very interesting season opener, interesting matchup as well, and an exciting first edition of Green Bay Nation with Kyle Malzahn and Marcus Eversole. Ryan will join us again next week. Thanks for tuning in.